and welcome to Jolie Living. We're not in the kitchen or the shop today. We're going to share a bit of our annual leaf peeping adventure. In September we try to go out camping for a week, and we're going to share some bits and pieces of that with you. We end up going over 7 mountain passes, 5 of those pulling the camper, 2 of those on the Alpine loop in our older Toyota Tundra. And we hit 2 different hot springs, go for a paddleboard ride, and a nice hike to a waterfall, and about 3 different bike rides. So it's an adventure that me and my wife really look forward to every year. We really enjoy it, and thought we'd share a little bit with you. I imagine you'll hear the entire Jumbo Stuffed Quail song, which is by my brother-in-law, Paul, and his buddy Derek, I believe it is. You might hear that entire song during this video. Often the start of our adventure begins when we make it over Kenosha Pass and we see South Park in front of us. It just seems like an iconic Western view or vista that never fails to impress us. But we're working our way to the San Luis Valley, and where we will spend a night at the Joyful Journey Hot Springs for a soak in the evening watching the moon come up, and then another soak in the morning before heading out towards Wolf Creek Pass. After a nice morning soak, we get on the road and head towards Wolf Creek Pass, where we are starting to see some aspen colors. They are beginning to change, but they are slower to show their changes down in this southern part of the state. As we make it over the top of the pass, it's always impressive to see the San Juan Mountains. We spend a lot of our time in the northern mountains, and when we get down here, we're always impressed with the views and I'd say the magnitude of these mountains. Pretty impressive. It's a windy road down the backside, and so pretty working down the valley into Pagosa Springs. Here we are heading north of Pagosa Springs to our first main camp, where we'll be for 3 nights. It's a new area to us. It's very beautiful, and again, the San Juan Mountains are very impressive. But when we get up to our Forest Service campground, we find a nice spot, a nice shady spot, probably shadier than necessary this time of year, but we have a good view of the lake. I have a rare muscle disease called Pompeii. It hinders me a bit in activities, but ever since I got an electric kit for my bicycle, I can go anywhere. And as soon as I did that, Rebecca wanted one herself. So anytime we're out, we really can cover any territory on our bikes, and we really enjoy that. Here we are just kind of checking out the campground, heading down to the lake, and taking a look at this flock of teal, I believe it is, sitting on the lake. Great start to the day. I spent a little bit of time fishing one evening. The fishing was peaceful and beautiful, but the catching was meh. After soaking at the hot springs in town in the morning, we were happy to make a little side trip on the way back to the campsite and hike for about a half a mile on a rocky, hilly trail to get to this beautiful waterfall. Surprised there was enough water moving this time of year to give us this much of a waterfall. I can only imagine what it would be like in early June with the runoff. All right. Well, it's day 5, and we had to leave our spot north of Pagosa Springs and drive the 20-mile-long washboard gravel road out from our campsite. but we got to go back up and over Wolf Creek Pass and down into South Fork. And as we were heading from South Fork towards Creed, we started to see more leaves changing. First of all, just more leaves, but then for sure, really starting to see the change. And here we're actually, I think, the first view we're getting close to Creed, then when we're on the north side of Creed heading towards Slumgullion Pass, the climb up this hill is where we really started to see the leaves come into play, and the changing leaves. Such a pretty color. You know, it's dominantly golds or yellows, but there are places where the aspens turn red and orange, and it's always amazing to see. After we reach Slumgullion Pass, it's a short, steep descent down into Lake City, where we set up at an RV park with luxuries like electricity and water. And the next day, we hop on our bikes and head up to Lake San Cristobal, just a short ride from our RV park. We're really starting to see the colors really pop here. Lots of aspen trees to start with, and they are changing. So I think it's about a 3-mile ride around the lake. We enjoyed that. Got to see the scenery, quite a few dirt bikes, ATVs, a lot of activity going on. But such a beautiful day, beautiful scenery. Lake San Cristobal, Lake City, Colorado. Funny to think we were here with our bikes, but we didn't stop and ride.
No.
Out. I don't know. Somewhere where the view's pretty. Yeah, sure. Well, at least we're prepared. When it gets windy, we sit down, put on our double blades. Look at those aspen leaves. Jeez. Nuts. Well, that's it for part 1 of our leaf peeping adventure. But please come back for part 2 when we drive the Alpine Loop up and over Engineer and Cinnamon Pass. But I just wanted to say thank you for joining us at Jolie Living. Please subscribe, like, and comment below. Thanks again.